Hello.
Hello. So hello everyone. I'm Anmol Jain. I was the General Secretary Academic Affairs PG 2023-24, and we'll be starting the soapbox for candidate of General Secretary Academic Affairs UG for the year 2025-26. So we have panelists Jainesh. He was SMP OC this year. Ananya, she was also SMP OC this year. Then we have Shravya, she was ISA Square last year in the UGAC. Then we have Harsh Shah, he was also ISA Square last year in UGAC. So starting with the opening statement, I would like to request Karthik to introduce himself and start with his opening statement.
Good afternoon, everyone. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. With this quote, I'd like to start today's soapbox. These words truly resonate with me as I stand before you today. I am Karthik Singhal, a fourth-year dual degree student from the Department of Electrical Engineering, contesting for the position of General Secretary Academic Affairs UG. Over the past 4 years, I have had the privilege of serving the student community in various capacities. As an elected student representative, as the Department General Secretary of Electrical Engineering, and as a mentor, guiding students through their academic journeys. These experiences have shaped my belief in a bottom-up approach for leadership, one where change is driven by the understanding what students actually need, not just what looks good on paper. Academics are the foundation of our journey at IITB. When students have a supportive, well-structured academic environment, they gain the freedom to pursue their passions, innovate, and grow. That's why I'm committed to making academic resources more accessible, practical, and aligned with student needs. If elected, my vision is to enhance the academic experience by focusing on real, meaningful solutions that come from student feedback. My manifesto is shaped by conversations with students across departments and years and includes making academic information easier to access through the UG Wiki, that students are fully aware of the resources and support available to them. Strengthening direct communication between students and the council through Samvad, ensuring that decisions reflect the actual need of the student body. Helping students prepare for their future careers and skill-based training, mentorship, and industry-relevant opportunities. For me, leadership is not just about holding a position. It's about making a real, tangible improvement in the academic life of every undergraduate student. I believe in serving, listening, and acting on what truly matters to the people I represent. I believe that hands that serve are holier than lips that pray. With your support, we can build an inclusive, student-driven academic environment, one that is practical, flexible, and truly works for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karthik. So I'd like to, Karthik, will you share the manifesto with the panelists?
Sure.
Do I call Shamsheri or Kanaka?
It's something we can work on. I'll keep track of it. Usually होता नहीं है CBS के टाइम पे भी बहुत
अभी कोई और भी अवेलेबल है क्या? चाहिए लैपटॉप चार्जर नहीं है।
I'd like to ask the panelists to have the manifesto debate.
कॉल कर लेता हूँ सोचने वाला काम
Hello, hello.
Hello. Yes, hi Karthik, congratulations on your journey so far and all the best for what lies ahead. In the first segment, we'd like to begin with, say, your key initiatives. And before that, I'd like to start with a softer aspect on your motivation. You mentioned how you've spoken to students mostly and incorporated their feedback in their initiatives to create meaningful solutions. So I'd like to start on that. Like, what are the kinds of people you've spoken to during this journey of creating the manifesto?
Thank you for that question. Like I pointed out, I have been an elected student representative for the past 3 years of my life. And throughout these years, I have observed very closely the different bodies of the institute. The actions they take, the impact they have. UGAC is a body which truly has a massive impact on the students of the institute. I am running for the position of General Secretary Academic Affairs UG to have an even further and profound impact on the students. Throughout my time, even as the Department General Secretary, I've come in contact with student representatives from other departments, with student representatives from institute bodies, and also with students from my department and other departments in general. This is what has shaped my motivation and the manifesto which is in front of you today.
Hi Karthik, thanks for that answer. Again, pitching in based on your response as well. I'm guessing definitely for the position you would have done a sufficient number of groundworks as well. So let's just get into the first point that we would like to discuss, which is key initiative number 1, where you're talking about conducting focus group surveys to gather suggestions and so on and so forth. The first question that I'd like to ask you on this is, are you aware of work that's already going on related to this, and what kind of groundworks have you done regarding the same?
Being a student representative myself, I've always been, at the forefront of collecting information from students and making it available to our faculty and the admin.
Just a minute, Karthik. We know that you've been a student representative. Just stick to answering the question.
Yeah, I have talked to multiple student representatives for this, and also this had come up multiple times in my groundworks that students want to have a method to be able to communicate to the faculty what innovative methods they like.
What Shravya asked was whether there has been any progress on a current initiative so far. If yes, could you name the position of the body or the student PR holder who has started this, if you know of it, or you can simply say no?
I think SMP team is already involved in collecting reviews of students. The department councils are also collecting information from students.
What sort of reviews are you talking about?
In general, how a course progresses, are students comfortable? Do they want to highlight anything about it?
So we do not have any focused groups.
Yeah,
as such.
definitely. That is why it is my initiative.
Again, so the question was, has any other...
Coming back, so the
Yeah.
answer is not SMP. Again,
Okay.
reiterating, there is already work that has been done on this, and there are a specific set of dignitaries who worked on this. We wanted to understand if you know who they are, you know what the current scene on that progress is, or if you don't know, you've not spoken to those people, you can simply say no.
With respect to the groundworks I have had, the limited information I had, I have communicated with you.
Okay, so basically you're not aware, right? You're not aware of who or what the scene is. Please use the mic.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, in that case, I'll tell you, UGC has already worked on focus group surveys to gather innovative methods for course instruction, as you mentioned here. So, just since you're not aware of it, I'd like to know what are the focus groups you're targeting to collect information here.
Yeah, so actually we want to progress with this initiative department-wise. First of all, we'll be releasing a cumulative survey for all the UG students. Collect from them any sort of innovative methods they might want to communicate with us, any instructors or courses which they might have at hand which they want to tell about. Upon receiving those responses, we'll in turn be communicating with the class representatives and department general secretaries of those departments from which the course recommendations would have come. Acting on those, we'll prepare a report.
So all you're doing is gathering student surveys and creating a report out of it?
And
Is that
communicating
your-
that to the relevant faculty.
Okay, you communicate that. And what is since I'm guessing it is a GSAA key initiative, is there a procedure that you're going to follow to make sure it is implemented by the faculty? Is there any procedure to check or follow up on such an initiative?
The report creation itself will highlight the requirement for these innovative methods, and given the fact that these are initiatives already being undertaken by the faculty, we hope and expect that the faculty will be conducive to the new innovative methods told to them.
Okay, I still didn't understand how the report will be satisfactory to check on it. However, in the respect of time, we'll move on to the next initiative.
The GSA will be in continuous communication with the faculty, and through the creation of that bond, I expect to move forward.
So moving ahead to the second point.
Hello. Karthik, coming on to the next initiative, you have mentioned something about Mental Health 101. So could you elaborate on what you wish to achieve by that, and what sort of impact do you see, and how would it be conducted, and who would conduct it?
So, coming to your question piece by piece, academics is the center of IIT Bombay. Every student, whether involved in any other activity or not, is involved in academics. All of us throughout our JEE journey have been toppers, have been the front runners of the race for academics. Coming to IIT Bombay, for a lot of students, they face significant issues in their academics. This can be in multiple forms: people getting poor grades, people failing courses, and so on. This can lead to significant mental stress for students. Hence, I plan to combat that through this initiative.
Yes, Karthik. We want to know the logistics. Who is going to conduct this event? Are you aware of whether such a thing is already being conducted in the institute? If yes, have you conducted groundworks, and how will your session be different from what's already being done?
I have communicated with the Student Welfare Center for this.
Sorry, with center?
Student Welfare Center. Student
Nice.
Wellness Center. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Student Wellness Center.
Carry on.
I have communicated with the Student Wellness Center for this. They are quite excited to conduct this and would be providing the professional required for this.
So there were other parts to the question as well. Are you aware of anything else that's being conducted in the institute?
Okay, so the third question is whether I am aware of any other thing.
Yes, and how will your session be different?
Yeah. I have been made aware through my groundworks of multiple different things which are conducted by Student Welfare Center. Student Wellness Center. But none of them match to what we are trying to do here. Our event would be a collaboration between UGAC and SWC, and we'll be focusing on the academic issues faced by students throughout the 4 years.
So how does UGAC come into the picture over here, and what sort of input?
Definitely. Undergraduate Academic Council is the primary stakeholder for students' academics in the institute. Hence, upon discussion with SWC, they also pointed out that UGAC will play an important role in communicating to them the different sorts of issues faced by students academically throughout the years.
We can move on to the third question.
Okay, moving on to the third question, we're addressing the last point of your key initiative, which is based on the opportunity to explore collaborations with IDC to further develop technical projects.
Yeah.
Firstly, before we get into it, could you just explain the point to us, because we're still a little doubtful about it.
Definitely, thank you. We are a technical institute, but we also have a lot of capacity for translational work. Currently, that is not being explored in the best possible way. Throughout my groundworks, after communication with multiple technical departments and also with students of IDC, it was brought to my notice that there is a very interesting problem at hand. Technical departments have multiple courses, whereas they create technical work on technical projects and end up in the creation of prototypes. Whereas IDC posed a question to me. IDC students work on projects and also work on credited and uncredited projects. So they wanted to work on something practical which could actually make an impact. Throughout the groundworks, after multiple discussions, it was finalized that if an opportunity exists, whereas the technical projects from these technical departments, labs and courses can be communicated to IDC students, they'd be interested in working on those.
Okay, firstly, I'm still unclear on what exactly the correlation is between IDC and the technical projects going on in the laboratories of quote-unquote technical departments.
Definitely. Yeah. So, IDC, as we know, is a multifaceted department. Multiple students make the mistake of not fully recognizing their capacity. So this was communicated to me that while prototypes are being built in other departments, they would like to take them from a prototype to a product stage, working on different aspects like design, ergonomics, even user research for the products. Yeah.
Okay, and besides IDC, have you taken groundworks about this with anybody else? Any other center that in the institute you know could have a mandate in this?
Or these technical departments that you're calling them? Have you spoken to any department councils since they've been mentioned?
Yeah, I have been in communication with the chemical engineering department, mechanical department, energy science department, electrical engineering department itself, and what was the other part?
With whether there are any existing centers in the institute that can mandate this or can help you out with this, or they already have a hand in it?
I have been in continuous contact with IRCC regarding this because I was unsure about some formalities which might need to be done for this. Yeah. And also IDC department, of course.
Sure, right.
Okay. Anmol, we'll move to the next section. Yes, Karthik. We like to move to the next section, which is academic and policy reforms,
Definitely.
which is known to be a huge part of the mandate of the GSA's work.
Definitely.
And here we see 2 points.
Yeah.
2 policy points that are already running and have been done.
Yeah.
So before we begin the segment, I'd like to just point out a few statistics. Before that, I'd like to ask you whether you visited the GSA manifestos of previous tenures.
Yeah.
How many?
Multiple.
How many?
I don't remember the exact number.
Okay. So I'd just like to point out the number of policy points in the last 5 GSA manifestos, starting with the most recent one and going back. Arjun Sinha, 7 points. Dheer Bhanushali, 6 points. Ayush Dahale, 6 points. Rishikesh Bavaskar, 6 points. Madhav Gupta, 7 points.
I'd like to give an answer to that.
Let me complete.
Definitely.
We have 2 policy points here, and both of these policy points have already been running, and these are follow-up points, not new policy points. So you see where I'm getting, right? As a GSA, you do not see any potential for new policy change in the upcoming tenure. And from what we've heard from the groundworks, that was a USP or motivation to apply for the position coming from the DG Sec position.
Definitely. So the first thing I'd like to highlight about the question which has been asked from me here is a certain doubt about the academic policies I have. The biggest thing which I believe in is that a manifesto is just a list of 30 points. A GSA cannot be limited to these 30 points. We have to go above and beyond. Every action we take has to be a consistent step towards improving the life of students. We cannot be limited by a 30-point manifesto. As regard to why I have only 2 points, I have a list of other initiatives I will be carrying out, and most likely you can be sure of the fact that in the upcoming tenure, big policy changes will be made. Thank you.
Okay, in contention to the point you just raised, that a manifesto is just a list of 30 points. However, whether you get selected or not, most of the time, ideally how it works is people decide to vote for you or not based on the 30 points you have written on your manifesto, first of all. Now, how the education about your points goes is why the soapbox is being held. And again, coming to the other points that you said, that you have other points on your manifesto which are also highlighting other work that you want to do. I can easily debate that most of them are also repetitive or continuations of ongoing policy or ongoing points which are not even policy points. So I actually have a big question about whether you've understood how the council as a whole actually functions and whether you've done the required number of groundworks to contest for the position of a GS.
The only thing I'd like to point out in that statement is I was referring to a set of initiatives even other than the manifesto which I'll be working on. Yeah.
Why are they not mentioned on the manifesto?
Because not everything which I hope to do can be mentioned on the
Why did you prioritize these?
Karthik, wait. I'd like to ask the panel to stick on the manifesto points and not debate about the last manifestos. So it would be better to...
The point is, like he stated, there's nothing on his manifesto and he's stating they are there in his notebook somewhere, which is why we don't know what to ask. Anyways, could you then, since you've mentioned you'd like to work on many policies, could you name a few from your many groundworks or the ones you stated that are new?
Are we digressing here? But sure. One of the few things I'd like to do is to push for the dual degree interns. That is a biggest motivation for me. Every dual degree student in the institute has been hoping for this to happen for a long time. I myself have been a huge proponent of the dual degree internships for multiple years now. Opportunities not given to students. Opportunities not given to students are as good as them being treated like they're not equal to other students. I hope through my initiatives that I will help every single student of the institute. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to division-wise questions. I'll start with student support services. You have an interesting set of 4 points for student support services here. I just have one question for you, and I would debate that this is highly related to the manifesto. But in your opinion, what is the role of student support services in the institute?
Student support services is a very powerful body of UGS. I strongly believe that student support services has a role to play in every aspect of a student's life, from academics to their overall development. Yeah.
That doesn't answer my question. That is what UGAC also does as well. But okay, I'll pick one of the points in student support services to debate on. For example, coming to the third point, which is essentially what this point to me I understand is you're asking student support services to curate a document telling students how they can integrate themselves back into the academic system after being inactive for a couple of semesters. Now my question to you is how is this, or why would you justify this to be a point that you would believe as a GS should be on your manifesto compared to something which I would have given the student support services coordinators?
After my multiple groundworks with DAMCs across the department, I have been informed that there are many students every year who want to join the institute back because they have informally stopped registering for semesters. These students, when they approach their mentors, it's not very common that mentors have information about guiding them. So then the issue is redirected to their faculty advisors. Then they are redirected to the academic offices. And then they are redirected to the academic office in the main building. Upon reaching there, the student has to run between HCU and the academic office. This is an attempt at streamlining that process, laying out clearly what needs to be done. Additionally, I also believe that a lot of students, are dropped out of the process because they do not understand fully what to do next. So this is also an attempt in encouraging those students to join the institute back. Thank you.
Moving on to another point under student support services, you here are talking about conducting hostel-wise interactive discussion sessions with the hostel council and so on and so forth. My first question to you is, what exactly do you plan to conduct in these sessions? And second of all, how exactly is this something why is this something student support services should be doing? Why is this not something UGAC as a whole should do?
To answer your second question first, UGAC is a very united body. And SSS is an integral part of it. Any initiative of SSS, or for that matter any other body, I will be pushing for full collaboration between all parts of UGAC. It would not be work limited to any one body, but aspect from every different part of UGAC will be included in every initiative. Coming to the first part of your question as to what I plan to do in those sessions, in my groundworks I have realized that hostels are the life of the institute. And through hostels, we have an opportunity to connect directly with the students at a much closer scale. Had we been conducting these events in an LSC, they do work, they are good, I agree. But we will never be able to have the sort of informal interaction we can achieve in a hostel. So that is the reason for conducting it in hostels. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. We'll move to the seventh question, which is based on the promotion of work experience and research. I have 3 questions, one each for all the 3 points you've stated. Coming to the first point under your manifesto, create a Know Your Lab blog. So, for my first question to you is, do you know current websites hosted by different institute bodies that already have information about the laboratories?
Throughout my groundworks, I have been told that there are multiple, introductions about labs existing. But the biggest issue I have realized with them is that they do not cater to a UG student. A lot of times they are way too advanced for a beginner UG student to access. So my initiative hinges on making the labs accessible to every student in the institute, making them realize the potential of their own work which can have, and additionally informing them about the work going on so they can be active stakeholders in that.
So just in case you are aware of it, most departments, mechanical, CSE, ESED, HSS, BSB, all of them on their websites have hosted exhaustive list of laboratories.
Yeah.
And IRCC also has a list of laboratories as well as sources to access those labs.
Yeah. Regarding
Now, let me complete.
Sorry.
Like you stated, you want to make it UG accessible. How are you planning to do this through your blog?
The biggest point which needs to be realized is that the blogs which are there on the websites already have been curated by members of that lab. They usually happen to be masters and PhD students, or the professors themselves a lot of times. The biggest factor which will come into play while implementing Know Your Labs is the fact that these will be curated by UG students themselves. They understand the needs of other fellow UG students and will work towards ensuring that these are accessible to an average UG student.
Please cut down the general answers. I am asking for specific.
One thing which might be relevant to UGC is RESCON itself, which has a poster presentation.
So how, and sir, participants already present their posters in RESCON. What are you changing in this?
So this is a very big question which I think it's very important to answer. RESCON and SERP, first of all, are 2 very different initiatives. Currently, the timeline of SERP had been skewed due to multiple reasons. It is very important to note that SERP is composed of students who are not doing it for a competitive purpose. SERP is held to introduce UG students to research. It enables UG students to get exposed for the first time to research in the institute under a professor. So this needs to be taken into account, the fact that SERP has a lot of students which might not be professional researchers or who might not plan to do research going ahead. So this poster presentation symposium will be an opportunity for them to be able to present their work within the semester and be able to display it to other students, also working on the presentation of SERP itself. More students getting to know about SERP and more students continuing with SERP in the continuing years.
Okay. And a final question on your third point. Could you please read out the point for me?
under promotion of work and research.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enhance predefined mandate to increase scope of DRC initiatives.
Do you think, like, what do you mean by this, and does this sound like a GSA point to you?
We have around a dozen DRCs in UGAC.
Okay.
I would like to mention that is larger than the size that the number of ISs and managers that GSA has. So DRCs have a huge capacity to work, and it is being grossly underused right now. So DRCs need adequate attention, and I fully believe that incorporating DRCs in my manifesto directly, I'll be able to push for greater work from them. Yeah.
That is just a part of your duty and not an initiative. I'm just stating it because we have run out of time. Moving to the next section, which is the 8th question.
Okay, moving on to Career Cell. I have a question about your third. I'll come to the third point first about hosting sessions on women-focused internship programs and application processes.
Yeah.
Firstly, I'm sure the point is on the manifesto. You would have done required groundworks for this. Please explain to me what exactly Career Cell is doing here and how exactly it's going to be different from what the Placement Cell already does.
Most definitely. This is something, the women-focused internship program, which will cater to all the female students in their second year, is something I envisioned during my DGSEC tenure itself. I recognized a huge gap in the current efforts being put in by the institute. There exist a lot of internship programs which are targeted towards second year female students, and only female students can apply in them. These programs already exist, but the biggest lack as an institute is that we are not able to inform all the students about this. So this initiative comprehensively aims to inform all the female students and empower them and assist them in filling out the forms throughout the process so that they can end up getting selected.
Point of follow-up on that. So I think you are aware that all of these opportunities are mostly brought in by the Placement Cell, and through Groundworks you would be aware that Career Cell itself cannot bring in opportunities and provide internships. You're aware of that?
Definitely.
Right? So in that case, why don't you think the Placement Cell would contend you on this, and how do you plan to counter that if the Placement Cell raises a contention on this?
I think a mistake has been made in the interpretation of my point. I do not intend to create new internship opportunities. There's a huge lack in the internship opportunities which already exist.
Yeah, Karthik, I'm aware of that. I understood your point. I'm asking you that the Placement Cell conducts sessions of their own, so they can also conduct a session for these programs since they themselves are bringing it. So how would you counter them or justify why Career Cell is doing it if they raise a contention?
The issues of contention is a very big one. I strongly believe that every student body, every body in the institute is working towards the good of students. And I fully believe, and I also have done groundworks with Placement Cell, I fully believe that this opportunity will be fully supported by Placement Cell because we are doing an information session and we are not creating new internship opportunities. We are informing students about opportunities which already exist and students can already apply for. Just that no students are currently informed of them and are not applying for the same.
Okay, moving on to your first point now, careers in 2030. Can you please elaborate a little about this and give an idea of how you plan to find speakers for these sessions and what you envision would be careers in 2030? If you have an idea, do you have a plan of action in mind?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, it's a quite long plan of action. But yeah, coming to the initiative about careers in 2030s, this was actually brought up in multiple of my groundworks that UGAC has a capacity not just to work on what is already going on in the sphere outside IIT Bombay, but also work on what might be in beyond a point of time. Given the question that do I know what will be happening in 2030, I don't think any individual anywhere can tell you what will happen in 2030, but what is important to note is to work on things that have a good chance of succeeding, making it big so that students can start to be told about them, they can start working on them, and we can start exposing students about the same. coming to your next question, which is do I have a structure for the same? I have a structure for the event, and I have what sort of opportunities the students can get.
Right. And just a small follow-up on this, out of my own curiosity. Do you have a rough idea of the domains of the kind of careers you'd want to cover in this?
Yeah, definitely. Some domains can be technology and AI-driven jobs. Others can be healthcare and biotech, sustainability and green jobs. Creative and digital economy is a big one actually. And then business and strategy is also a very major component.
And would you look to collaborations with other institute bodies for this, or do you think Career Cell can handle it on their own?
That will be decided after the council selection upon due discussions. Any areas where we might believe we might benefit from a collaboration, we can consider those.
Moving to the last question on the club initiatives.
Definitely.
I'd like to begin with the fourth point first. Conducting a session on finances and legal basics for entrepreneurs. Do you know any courses that are already doing this in the institute?
Regarding the fourth point, finances, regulation and legal basics for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Yeah. I, through my groundworks, have been informed that there are courses running on these topics. I don't remember the exact codes of them.
Yeah, I'll tell you, ENT departments has individual courses for finances and legal basics for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah, so how is someone who's interested in entrepreneurship, they can simply take up the course, which is much more exhaustive than a couple of speaker sessions. So how do you plan to do this, and who will be the speakers for these sessions?
A very big aspect which I think is missed while talking about this initiative is that there are multiple reasons a student chooses to do a course. It is not necessary that if a student is interested in learning a topic of the course, that they might be able to take it. There might be other stakeholders involved, and they might not be as comfortable in attending the course as attending a session. So that is the reason we should be having a session catered to the entrepreneurs who have already moved past the technical aspect and want to get introduced on the finances, regulations and legal basics.
Okay, thank you.
Just one final follow-up on that. So here in this point, the only relation to clubs that I see is when finance club comes into the picture.
Okay.
So with respect to the regulation and legal basics, like that instinctively is not related to finance club. So how would you justify this to someone in case there's an external body who wants to conduct it, saying, okay, finance club is not in charge of such topics, why is finance club doing it? Do you have a justification for that, or do you have, what was in your mind when you combined all these three domains?
Yeah. The reason for combining the three domains is that they do go hand in hand, and they need to be covered hand in hand for a student to have an overall perspective. Regarding any other body, throughout my groundworks, I have been informed that no other body is planning to conduct it as of yet. So UGAC will be going ahead and doing it for the benefit of the students.
Okay, thank you, Karthik. So moving on to the next part of the soapbox. So it is topic debate. To walk you through it, it will be one topic will be chosen by the candidate, and then the candidate would speak on it for maximum of 3 minutes. Then the each panelist will be speaking on it for maximum 1 minute and have a discussion for 2 minutes per person. So total time for this part is 15 minutes.
So the topic which will be discussed is how to encourage real-time course and teaching feedback based on a student feedback during a particular course and implement it for the future iterations too.
Karthik, can you tell the topic again?
You want me to repeat the topic? So the topic is how to encourage real-time course and teaching feedback based on student feedback during a particular course and implemented for future iterations too.
The topic clear.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so please go ahead.
Okay, you want me to start?
Yeah. We are running out of time. So
Yeah, definitely. So currently, feedback, I envision feedback, my opening statement was composed of the line, encouraging feedback-based improvement. Feedback is an essential part of teaching, essential part of any progress. For example, even Samvad, which I will be having, is an attempt of getting, another pathway for students to give me feedback. Based on feedback, only students and professors alike can make improvements to the work they do. Currently, we have course feedbacks for our courses. There are issues with them and there is scope for improvement. We'll work towards improving feedback overall and for students to be able to better pursue their courses.
Karthik, thanks for just rephrasing the problem statement using your 2 minutes. My first question to you is, which is why I asked whether the topic was clear to you or not. The topic is, if there's current feedback that is being collected, say mid-sem feedback, how are you implementing it within the semester itself in the current iteration of the course? Do you have a strategy in mind? Do you have a policy in mind? Any way you can go about it?
Opt-in feedback model for faculty. Given that departments should allow faculty to opt in for real-time feedback. Faculty choosing to receive feedback can help in creating a culture where only those interested in improving receive constructive input. Another thing which I wanted to tailor as an example was, can I take names of universities?
Sure, sir.
The Stanford University has an optional mid-quarter feedback system where professors can tailor feedback questions to their teaching goals. Yeah.
Okay, and so this is just one half of it where you're collecting the feedback. How are you implementing it real time as mentioned in the problem statement?
I strongly believe that IIT Bombay runs from the efforts of both students and faculty. So throughout my tenure, it will be a very important factor to pay attention to the fact that imposition is something I will not work towards. We will do all students can do to provide faculty the required feedback, and we believe, because faculty are also in the institute for the best of the students, that they will act on them if and when necessary.
Hello. Yeah, Karthik, in your opening statement you mentioned that the current method of collecting course feedback can be improved.
Yeah.
So could you name 3 issues or 3 things that the current system lacks? Specifically 3 points, and as the topic says, how would you combat those? How would you improve upon those 3 lackings in the current feedback process?
Okay. Yeah, so some things I want to point out actually are, there's a mismatch between feedback givers and receivers. Faculty members who actively seek feedback do not receive quality responses, while those resistant to feedback may still receive unhelpful and irrelevant feedback. The second point can be, there's a lack of trust in the feedback system which needs to be worked upon. Students doubt whether their feedback is being taken seriously by administrators or instructors. Overly lengthy or redundant feedback forms is another big issue. Forms contain repetitive questions, making students disinterested in filling them out. And finally, there is a limited scope for feedback. Current feedback mechanisms mainly focus on course structure, delivery and policies, but ignore other key aspects such as assessment methods, lab quality and student support.
Second part of the question was, what would you do to combat these? I mean, that's what the topic is, right? How do you encourage
Definitely. The first part of your question was what problems exist, that having been answered. Regarding how do I plan to cater to them, each of these problems is direct in nature. For taking lack of trust in the system, for example. With due communication between the admin and the students, this can be improved. An example can be getting clear outline as to when and how the feedbacks are collected, plus when they are released to the faculty and exactly to which faculty are they released. Giving students examples of improvements which have occurred in the past due to feedback being collected. Yeah.
So, Karthik, one question on that.
Yeah.
So do you think more frequent feedbacks would help solve any of these three problems? Because you mentioned Stanford was doing something of this sort. So do you think that is a solution for any of these three issues? And if not, then what purpose is it serving?
I think the biggest problem to recognize is that we cannot implement blanket policies, such as having more frequent feedback for everybody. In my groundworks, I have been informed that some time back, there only used to be one feedback. It was in constructive opinion that we incorporated mid-semester feedback too. The biggest point which needs to be realized is that blanket increase in the number of feedbacks will not improve situation. Feedback should only be there. Feedback should only be there when the students are when students would actually be interested in filling them, and when the faculty would be actively pursuing the interests outlined in the feedback. Yeah.
Okay, Karthik, I'll just end by, I just want to try one more time because you're still not telling us what you're going to do about it. Like, for example, since you were mentioning that you had an idea for opt-in feedback for faculty in case there are members who really want feedback, they can opt in to see the feedback early on. Now, faculty members who want to know the feedback, they will mostly ask the students directly. That does happen, that's happened in some of our courses as well. And second of all, you mentioned something about having an overall outline with respect to how you want to approach this, but you're not giving us details about this. So I'm giving you a chance to try one more time. Can you give us more concrete details?
Thank you for your chance. First problem which you pointed out, which is regarding opt-in feedback. So correct, multiple professors actually do it. And what the students have realized throughout is that those feedbacks which are catered to the individual course, the questions are catered to the individual professor's way of teaching, are much more effective than the mid-semester and end semester feedback currently. So doing it at a larger scale would be very helpful. Regarding the outline as to what all exactly do I plan to do, I believe that students and faculty are both an important stakeholders, so concrete decisions can only be made after due discussion with all relevant stakeholders. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, panelists, and thank you, Karthik, for answering the questions. So, moving ahead to the next part of the soapbox is background check. As you have mentioned in your credentials, you were the Department General Secretary of Electrical Engineering Department last year. I would like to ask you one question. What was your initiative in your tenure, and what could have you done better? What do you think about it?
The biggest initiative which is closest to my heart by far, which I will be wholeheartedly working towards, getting it done at an institute level next semester, next year entirely, is the dual degree internship program. My heart and soul goes to every dual degree student, goes to every dual degree.
Karthik, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but the question is your credentials verification. Last year, what you have done in the...
Yeah, dual degree program is something I have worked on. Yeah, dual degree program is something I have worked on. Throughout my multiple groundworks, I have been always told that this has been a part of GS manifestos. This has been part of numerous BGSEC manifestos to push through the 4th year dual degree internship. I sincerely worked for it. We even curated a student survey which was released on student notices by the GSA UG. Upon collection of data and creation of a presentation which was given to the head of the department, the this topic was raised in the department's DFM, department faculty meet, whereas it was consolidated and told to me by the faculty that now electrical department students will be permitted to opt for dual degree for internships, and the department will not obstruct that. Hence, I plan to push this at an institute level next time. Any other questions?
I've asked the second part of it. That
Yeah.
what do you think would have been better if you have worked properly, in your opinion?
Yeah. The most satisfying part of my DGSEC tenure was the effort I was able to put in and the help I was able to provide. Regarding improvements to my coming GSA tenure, I believe that the General Secretary Academic Affairs UG has a great power to impact the lives of students, hence a great improvement which I recognize from my DGSEC tenure. Any improvements? Regarding improvements, yeah, there were things which I am pushing forward.
Was there anything which went wrong in your tenure?
I just want to give more time to the people, to their service, and I want to just continue working. The only thing which I regret is during my summers I was not able to give my all. Only after coming back in the semester I was, because I was at an internship. Now I plan to remedy that completely.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Moving to the next part of the soapbox, I'd like to invite students from Insights to ask questions. Students from Insights.
नहीं नहीं उस साइड उधर भी कैमरा उधर पे लाइट है वहाँ से
Good afternoon, everyone. So we'll start with the manifesto point about organizing the mental health 101 session. Given that this is also one of your key initiatives, right? So can you just explain to us what are your broad plans for this initiative? Is this just going to be one session? If so, why is it exactly a key initiative?
Regarding the second point of your question as to if it's only one session, why should it be a key initiative? I believe it is the importance of a session and not the number of sessions we have which should outline whether it is a key initiative or not. It is the impact which an initiative should have which determines where it is put in the manifesto. Yeah, regarding the first part of your question, which was what exactly do I plan to have, it will be a comprehensive session which will cater to all UG students across the years and will highlight the issues which might build up from academic problems they face in the institute.
Yeah. So we have a question for you following up on this. Are you aware of the sessions conducted in the last 2 tenures by UGSC on mental health and as well as SWC? And what were some of the key problems that you observed which you would specifically plan to circumvent through these sessions?
The previous councils have done beautiful work in catering to this issue. SWC, it cannot be, it cannot be mentioned in words the impact they have. So a lot of work has been done so far. Regarding the initiative itself, the biggest issue which was highlighted to me was, in general, events which cater to mental health, to student wellness, they tend to have lesser number of students attending. I also discussed this with SWC councillors, and they shared a very important opinion regarding this. For something as critical and important as mental health, it does not matter how many people you get, but what matters is that every student who comes to you feels that it is useful And even if you can help a single student overcome the stress they have from their academics and put them on a greater path forward, it will be a benefit for the institute and the country.
Well, very well agreed. I agree with your second point, I'll say, but this didn't answer the first part of my question, which was, are you aware of any existing initiatives by the previous councils of UGSC and SWC? Can you name any sessions which were conducted?
Very recently, a hangout session was also conducted by SWC. Mental Health Mondays.
Which was cancelled by the way.
Yeah, it had to be cancelled. That was unfortunate. But
So it wasn't conducted.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Mental Health Mondays is one initiative that is continuously done by SSS also. Yeah.
Okay. Still didn't answer the question, but
Alright, we'll move on to the next point. This is about the collaboration with IDC. You were talking about this with the panel earlier as well, but again, can you specify as to what technical projects are you referring to here? Are they SERP projects? Are they CROS?
Greater clarity. But the projects I refer to here are which students do in their courses or in their labs. For example, electronic design lab in the electrical engineering department
has get IDC into this and also push the department councils as to understand how they'll work together. What is your plans for that?
Yeah, definitely. The first part of your question was regarding how do I get, well, how would the collaboration actually work out? So the collaboration is in the sense that once the course project ends, once the students have already worked on it, because they are their graded projects, we do not want any indulgence by any other student outside the group till that duration. So only when a student has completed their project and has been graded on it, will it be, will the collaboration with the IDC students start? Can you repeat the second part of your question again?
how would you ensure active participation from the department councils exactly? Are they answerable to you as the JSA Square?
Being a DGSEC previously myself, I firmly believe that all DGSECs and GSA should act as one unit. The DGSC is a big example of the same, whereas the GSA is the convener. So I'll be working collaboratively with all the departments, ensuring that they help me in this initiative and they recognize. I've already received numerous comments, positive comments about the initiative from the current DGSECs, and I hope the incoming DGSECs are just as passionate about this initiative as their previous DGSECs were.
Okay. So the next question we would have is on developing a guide on fast track degree, highlighting available facilities to students.
Definitely.
So are you aware of the procedure of converting to a fast track degree firstly?
I have a rough outline.
We don't want a rough outline. Could you please run us through that?
Yeah, definitely. Once a student decides that they want to opt for a fast track degree, which by the way is the option for students to exit after their 7th semester itself, a student has to prepare an application outlining, first of all, the reason they want to do it. Secondly, what all courses they have remaining and how they plan to complete their required credits within the pre-final semester itself. Then it is submitted to the department, whereas the DUGC sits on it and decides whether a student should be allowed to do it. Post the DUGC approval, the student goes on with the semester. At the end of the semester, which if they successfully pass all the required courses for the degree, then they again need to submit a report stating that they have completed the required credits and the application can be pushed further. Then the HOD forwards the required document to the academic office.
Okay. So I'm assuming, does the fast track degree guide include all of this? It does include all of this, right?
Additional stuff also.
Okay, fine. So firstly, could you run us through the additional stuff as well? And secondly, given that different departments have different degree requirements, how does the booklet exactly go into the specificity for all of these different departments?
Yeah, we plan to include the specifics from every department first of all, and the other thing which will be included is the very reason why the booklet would exist, to tell students whether to opt for it or not. It will be a guide to students based on previous experiences, telling them what the thought process of previous people who did this was, whether they should do it, does it fit into their career trajectory, what the benefits might be, and what the experience of previous students were.
Okay. So the next question is about creating a library spotlight or pictorial guide. Yeah. So how is this different from the central library website, which already has a pictorial depiction of various library facilities?
Are you aware of every facility available on the Central Library website?
I'm pretty sure this is the GSA Square soapbox I'm required to ask questions to, and not the other way around.
That highlights my initiative. There are multiple facilities available in the library, and students are absolutely not aware about any of them. This initiative is a step in the right direction towards informing students about the facilities which
This is
are
one
already
question.
available to them.
How is this different from the central library website, which already has a
Hi, I saw you have written a point on formulating a comprehensive guide covering entrepreneurship. Can you please elaborate what all will be included? And other than collating information, what unique are you planning to bring into it?
Definitely. Entrepreneurship is the next step for the institute. Entrepreneurship is the next step for the institute. We stand at the pinnacle of research, pinnacle of academic work. Translation of that academic work into technology is something that the institute is now actively trying to cater to. This is an initiative in that direction. I have an overview of what all I want to include in that document. The first would be an overview of the entrepreneurial ecosystem at IIT Bombay. This will highlight the different facilities available, such as incubators, education and research, technology transfer and IP support which the institute provides, research park and translational research, and also institute level innovation support. Additionally, funding programs and financial support which is provided by the institute will also be included. Policies and institutional provisions for entrepreneurs. How to get started into case studies of IITB startup, those will be included. Also, the institute, as pointed by the panel before, institute also offers entrepreneurial courses. So we'll also be highlighting what a student can take to pursue their journey further. Thank you.
Would you like to, you mentioned that you would have case studies of some startups. Can you please list some of them if you have thought of them?
Yeah, actually I have a few examples of startups which have sprouted out of IIT Bombay. One most popular example is Atomberg, which I think all IITB students can relate with because of the recent fan change in the institute where Atomberg fans have been installed throughout. Another example can be Idea Foods, which I think again all IITB students know because it is a high-tech drone manufacturing company started out of IIT Bombay. Thank you.
Hi Karthik, I wanted to ask you about the initiative related to careers and sustainability. Why exactly would you want to do this? Who do you want to call? And why do you want to make sustainability all about careers?
Is an up and coming field. IIT Bombay is making multiple inroads into educating its students about sustainability.
Now I'd like to ask the audience to have any questions. Please move ahead.
Hi, I saw you have written a point on formulating a comprehensive guide covering entrepreneurship. Can you please elaborate what all will be included in it? And other than collating information, what unique are you planning to bring into it?
Definitely. Entrepreneurship is the next step for the institute. Entrepreneurship is the next step for the institute. We stand at the pinnacle of research, pinnacle of academic work. Translation of that academic work into technology is something that the institute is now actively trying to cater to. This is an initiative in that direction. I have an overview of what all I want to include in that document. The first would be an overview of the entrepreneurial ecosystem at IIT Bombay. This will highlight the different facilities available, such as incubators, education and research, technology transfer and IP support which the institute provides, research park and translational research, and also institute level innovation support. Additionally, funding programs and financial support which is provided by the institute will also be included. Policies and institutional provisions for entrepreneurs. How to get started into case studies of IITB startup, those will be included. Also, the institute, as pointed by the panel before, institute also offers entrepreneurial courses. So we'll also be highlighting what a student can take to pursue their journey further. Thank you.
Would you like to, you mentioned that you would have case studies of some startups. Can you please list some of them if you have thought of them?
Yeah, actually I have a few examples of startups which are sprouted out of IIT Bombay. One most popular example is Atomberg, which I think all IITB students can relate with because of the recent fan change in the institute where Atomberg fans have been installed throughout. Another example can be IdeaForce, which I think again all IITB students know because it is a high-tech drone manufacturing company started out of IIT Bombay. Thank you.
Hi Karthik, I wanted to ask you about the initiative related to careers and sustainability. Why exactly do you want to do this? Who do you want to call? And why do you want to make sustainability all about careers?
Yeah, I need, give me a minute. See, sustainability is an up and coming field. IIT Bombay is making multiple inroads into educating its students about sustainability. There are multiple bodies in the institute currently working very actively towards informing students and additionally improving the students' sustainability metrics itself. That comprises of the different wastages currently in the institute, catering to improving them and also educating students about how they can be active stakeholders in this. My manifesto covers multiple sustainability aspects to inform students about their role as active environment stakeholders. Coming to corporate sustainability and why, apparently I'm making sustainability all about careers. It is as simple as sustainability is something which every student should be a part of. And why not through careers? If up and coming careers in sustainability are showing up at the doors of IIT Bombay, our students should be equipped to assisting those students be a part of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello Karthik. So I would like to ask you, what will be the role of the hostel council in your manifesto point, the hostel-wise interactive discussion?
Thank you. This gives me more opportunity to highlight the importance of my hostel collaboration point. Hostels, as previously also pointed out, are the very essence of the institute. From informal banter to late night study sessions, they are the center of it all. They are the place where bondings are created, lifelong friendships are forged, even startups like IdeaForce are created. So, hostel sessions which I plan to conduct under the umbrella of Student Support Services will enable us to utilize that very aspect of hostels, the very informal natures of the conversations it can enable, and the very fact that students are more comfortable interacting with the speakers when they are in their hostel environment. Additionally, also giving students a point of contact later in their student years to approach and ask questions from if they have any. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karthik. We're moving ahead to the last part of the soapbox. We're going to the closing statements. You have 2 minutes for your closing statements. Please go ahead.
First of all, I would like to thank every student who came here to witness the soapbox. It was 3 p.m. on a Sunday and it was very sunny. Thank you so much, every one of you, for being here. I would like to thank the Insight team and the Election Commission for this opportunity to present my vision to all of you. Elections are not just about choosing a representative, they are about choosing the direction we want our academic experience to be taken. I encourage every student to make a well-informed decision because your voice shapes the future of IITB. If elected as the General Secretary Academic Affairs UG, my priority will be to make the campus a more academically conducive place, ensuring that every student has the resources and support they need to succeed. I will focus on improving transparency, streamlining UGSE activities, and strengthening the grievance redressal mechanism to make it more accessible, accountable, and dynamic. I am committed to building upon the efforts of previous General Secretaries while bringing in my own values of service, responsiveness, and student-first leadership. I have put my heart and soul into this process, and I promise to continue doing that every single day. Together we can and we will. Thank you.